First of all, I would love to thank you all for joining this amazing session on getting starting with open source with Anuj Bhaiya. This session is organized under the umbrella of DSC HackFest, which is the collaboration of four DSCs: DSC IGDTUW, DSC AKGEC, DSC IPCW, and DSC PGDAV. And I am Samarjit, my DSC lead of PGDAV. Today we have with us Mr. Anuj Garg. He is a Google Summer of Code mentor under the JBoss community of Red Hat middleware for servers and IoT monitoring, an expert in enterprise Java and web services, and a co-founder and mentor at Code for Cause. If you have any,
Yay!
yeah, if you have any questions, you can put down in the comment section, and we will take it up at the end. And that's it from my end. So the next voice will be from Anuj Garg. Anuj Bhaiya, the platform is all yours. Now please begin.
Okay, so hello guys. Hello guys. So the first thing is that a bit sorry for the delayed start of the session because I was having some issue in the setup. So sorry for that. But now we are here and we can set up the session and move for the session. So the first thing to discuss about this whole process is what exactly is open source. So you guys have a lot of assumption, a lot of thought about, okay, this is open source, that is open source, but what exactly is open source? Does something being free makes it open source? Is it so? You can put in the comment if you think, if it is like that, that, if you think that something being free makes it open source. What software that you use is open source? Put in the chat so that I understand that you have the correct understanding of open source or not. And Sarvjit, can you also in the private chat you can put me link to the video so that I can add it up there and I can see things. Okay, in just 1 second. I'll be back in 10 seconds. So I had an Amazon delivery, so because of that, I had to rush up and give my phone to someone else. So yeah, so we were on the dimension of what exactly is open source. So open source doesn't mean free software, right? So Red Hat in India have a business of $5 billion. But if they provide everything for free, does it really makes it $5 billion business? No. Open source doesn't mean that it have to be free for everyone. It only contains four rules. The first rule is what? First rule is that source code should be available. Source code should be available to everyone. Okay. Source code is available. You can see this code. Okay. So, but compare it with the bike. If you have access to see something, if you have access to see a bike, you go to a fest and you see a bike there, do you have permission to only see it or you have permission to also use it? What do you guys say? You have permission to only see it or you have the permission to use it as well? You only have the permission to see it, right? But if I say that I'm increasing the permission level, you have the permission to see and you have the permission to use, but do you have permission to modify? Like if you go for Zoom car, okay, you rented a car for a day or 2 days, so do you have permission to see and use or also have permission to change some parts of it? You have only first two permissions, not the permission three. That makes sense? So, but now if you have permission one, two, and three, you have permission to access, permission to use, and permission to change. But still, do you have permission to redistribute? Like if you think of like you have a car from your friend and you have all these three permission, but you still have, do you have the permission to put this car to someone else? Okay, like selling it or reusing it, reselling it, these kind of permission do you have? Okay, so but if you have all these four permissions, then you can understand that a particular source code is open source. Okay, but not all the things, yeah, in the general trend that you will find that it is corresponding to open source initiative, but not all software that consider themselves as open source follow all these four rules. So what exactly is happening there? That those software are considering themselves open source by some other manners, but they are not following the standard open source procedure. Okay, if that part is done, then the next part that comes is ki, which open source software you use, and if you're really liking it or not, and how you're liking it, which part of it you are liking it. Okay, Sarabjit, can you add you back? Can you add back? Sorry, can you add back yourself to the stream? Can you come back to the stream, Sarabjit?
Yeah.
I need you to send me the link,
YouTube link. For
YouTube link. Yes.
Yep, I've already sent it on your WhatsApp group.
On WhatsApp, yeah. So sorry, but in the private chat,
Okay.
my phone is not connected, so I'm not having it here.
Okay. Wait. Just.
Okay, so because that is important for keeping the session interactive, because I'm not seeing all the comments, so because of that, yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Actually, on the platform, we can see the comments, but they come approximately at 10 seconds lag. So,
Yeah.
that makes a bit things, more complicated. So now it is good. Yeah. So, uh, cool. Now things are going good. Yes. Okay. So yeah, so as Yura said, no, I think the open source as something where all can use the technology and contribute to it as well as to improve it for the community. Yes. So in your response, the most important thing that you said is about community, that you can do it for community. So wherever there is not the focus on community, you are missing out to the most important thing, that you are saying that you have something but you do not have something if you're not having it for the community. So that is the most prominent, the most important thing that you have to strive for, that something have to happen for the community itself. That is the most important point, and you are understanding it. Okay, so if you're getting that point, then you have to understand how to do it. तुम्हारी feeling कैसे जुड़ेगी, how exactly you are getting connected to it. Okay, and because of the communication barrier, that I think doesn't happen like that. So my one more question is that is there someone who only understand English, or can I occasionally use Hindi as well? So put it in the chat so that I know that you guys are comfortable with both the languages or only English, because that will put up communication in more ease. Okay, so you guys can respond to that question, but for that point, we can move forward with thing like that you have this open source structure with you. Okay, you have this whole thing where all these four things are being followed. Okay, and now what you have to do, you have to take the advantage of this thing as a software developer. You are in the software career, and you have to take the advantage of this procedure. So how do you take the advantage of open source in your software development career? Okay, you are a software developer now, or maybe you are studying for this being software developer. Okay, and you have to take the advantage of open source. So the first thing is to become the user. You can claim to contribute a lot, or trying to contribute and these things like that, but if you talk to any person specifically in terms of open source, you are talking to a big contributor. In all the cases you will hear that the first contribution that you can make in open source is to use it. Okay, become the user, because if you consume something, then later on you can have the feeling to provide or something like that. But first take the advantage of something, because if you do not like you said, if you do not take the advantage of something, then okay,
Yep.
yeah, so I'm back. So Yeah. So what I was talking about, that if you believe in something, you can contribute. You are having the possibility to contribute, but you can have the possibility to contribute only if you believe in something. So first thing that you have to do is you have to believe in something. Okay. And if you start using something, you can start believing something. Okay. So you already use open source quite a lot, but if you use it willingly, and how do you use open source? You use Android phone. So if you use Android phone, you're using Linux, you're using Android, both are open source. If you're using Chrome, you're using Chromium software, source code. And Chromium is eventually Chrome, right? So finally you're using Chromium, so you're using open source. Just 1 second. I think I'm having some noise. Okay. Okay, so you're using Chromium, so you are using Chrome. If you're using Firefox, you're using open source. Okay, specifically, if, just 1 second, Sarabjit.
Guys, there is some network issue. We will come back very soon. So stay tuned. We will come back very soon. Wait. Till then, you can post all your queries regarding the open source. So at the end of the session, we will take all your queries. So just wait for some more moment, then we will start the session.
Okay, yeah, guys, I have some problem in the near neighbor system, and because of that, there is some issue with the audio system. But I hope my audio is clear now. Can you reciprocate to that, Sarabjit? Is my audio clear
Yes,
right now?
yes, Anuj, your voice is clear.
Okay, and I will also try to add back my video feed, but if that doesn't happen, you guys will have to bear with me in case of camera. So let me just check if I can do that. Okay, yep. Cool. Okay, sorry, I had to change the environment and the place because of there was some noise at that place, but I hope things are better now. So it is the hardship of life, obviously. You do whatever you do, whatever, but finally you have to face these things. But that is fine, that is totally okay. We have to continue, and we will continue our discussion because that is good. So we were talking about different softwares, like we use Chrome, we use Mozilla Firefox, we use a lot of internet services and all the things. But all the even if you use Apple, even if you use iPhone, if you go for the licenses, you will find that inside they use a lot of open source software that are finally open source, right? Finally they are providing something in open, right? So finally you are using open source in some manner. But what if you use intentionally? If you intentionally use something, you provide something better. You provide the feeling of the benefit of open source. Okay, so I will suggest you guys to specifically choose, if you have alternatives, specifically choose something which is open source. Just think of this, like if you Paytm, right? If you use Paytm, does it make sense that you can reciprocate that these are the issues and I can help you solve these issues, right? But you cannot really do that. You use Paytm, you get stuck at places, you feel that this app is working slow, but you cannot do anything. That is not something that you would prefer, right? You would prefer that if you're using an app, you have the possibility as a developer, you have the possibility to reciprocate. You have the possibility to finally improve that thing for yourself and for others, right? And that is not just the prime, that is just the base thing that we generally talk about, but that is not the whole thing that it is providing. When you have to showcase yourself, right? So if you are a college student right now and you want to showcase that, okay, I'm a developer and I can do things, what are the locations that you can really present yourself? You can say that, okay, I'm a developer and I created this app. Okay, but what is the proof that you created this app? You are saying that I have worked, I have done internship in this company, maybe HCL or something like that, or maybe something better, maybe Adobe or Microsoft or whatever. But just the certificate you have to showcase that you have really done something, and you even don't have the certificate to showcase what exactly you have done, what exactly the code you have written, because in the limitation of the company that you work with, you cannot really showcase the code that you have written. So nobody knows the quality and the quantity of code you have written, the project that you have really worked upon when you are in a particular company. But when you are contributing to open source, all the things that you have done, that is specifically in your GitHub or whatever the VCS, version control systems, that organization use, you have those things with you. So you can showcase, कि तुमने किया क्या है, कि सर आपने VLC use करते हो, do you use VLC? Yes. Have you used this particular feature? Yes, I have used this particular feature. So I have made that feature. So I have the particular guts to say that I have created something that millions and billions of people are using. So finally the power of word that I have, that is much greater than the power that any person have when they're representing their application, or they're representing that okay, I have worked with this company, I have worked with that company. So I have that guts to showcase that I have worked with this company in the open source, in the organization perspective. I have worked with this company and I have contributed these features. So I understand everything that I'm representing. Okay, I'm not just saying something, I can represent it, I can showcase it. So that is the first point that you get from open source, that all the contributions that you have made, those are open and you can always showcase them. And that is always the best thing to do. That is the first point, right? But then the next point is what? So you get the network, right? Because a lot of big people, like if you see that IBM, Microsoft, Google, all of them also contribute in open source. Okay, and if you're working with some projects that already is being used in some other big projects, and you're contributing with them, so you're already having a lot of people that work in different organizations and they can have your reference. Okay, and especially if some of those people want some person to be hired on their behalf, they will try to choose you because they already know what exactly the level of work you can do. What is your work? What is your level of things? Because things doesn't like कि चाचा विधायक है हमारे. You just say that because of some particular things you will be chosen, because eventually that is totally up to you. What exactly you can do, what exactly you can make. Amazon, Google, these kind of company will not hire you just because you are from a particular college or a particular branch, or you have some particular skill set just to say it. You have to showcase what you have, right? So if you have to be hired and you have to be referred to these places, you have to finally, showcase yourself. Okay, Himanshu saying, but open source contribution can be fake sometimes. Maybe the person who is showcasing the contribution, but actually he may not have done those. Okay, so if you're saying that he is not doing the contribution, somebody else is doing the contribution on his behalf. Okay, but what is the level of fakeness that you can do in that case? You can fake one contribution, you can fake two contribution. Can you fake your life? Can someone else fake the whole life on your behalf? And what is the level of that? What is the possibility of that? What is the money you have to put in someone to finally fake the whole system for you, finally fake the whole 2 month structure for you? It is not like that you have to push all the contribution on one day. Obviously all the commits that you make are day wise, are dated, okay, and specifically are to particular organizations. So if somebody have to fake you, somebody have to fake it to very personal way. And why someone else will live your life just so that you can get a good job? Just 1 second. And if you have that much money that you can get someone to fake the whole life for you, like 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year, or 4 year, the entire BTech, then I don't think that you have that level of shortage of money that you need a job. You can hire a person to fake the open source life for 4 years, or maybe 2 years or 3 years. You're good to go. you know isn't it right, guys? If you have someone to fake your life for that long, that is enough. Okay, so in overall fashion, you can say that you can get someone to fake your life for GSOC. How many of you guys know about GSOC, Google Summer of Code? It is an event by Google. Obviously you get the money from Google and you get a lot of other things from Google, but the thing that you have to have is just 1 second. uh, just 1 second. Hello.
Guys, wait for some more moment. Anuj Bhaiya, there's some network issue from their side. He will be come back as soon as possible. Guys, sorry for the inconvenience due to the network issue. Anuj, there's some network issue from the Anuj Bhaiya side. So he just pinged me through WhatsApp and said it we should reschedule this program in upcoming days. So stay tuned for the upcoming events. We will have some amazing upcoming events in upcoming days. So guys, thank you so much for watching this session and sorry for the inconvenience. We will try to remove all these glitches in the upcoming events. So